The next presentation is one of my personal favorites on today's program because we have Raphael Gielgen, Futurist at Vitra, with us. Hello, Raphael.
Hi, hello.
So, Raphael, you're going to talk to us about new work, smart offices, a topic that's propelled into the future by COVID, I guess. And I mean, we see it here in the program. I mean, we had guests talking from their camper vans, talking from somewhere in their holiday locations. So where are you right now?
Well, I'm today at the Vitra campus in Weil am Rhein, so in the southwest of Germany, close to the Swiss border, to Basel.
Okay, so and you're working from there, and the stage is yours. Very interested to hear what you have to say.
Good. So I share my screen and then we start. Good. 1 second. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. So as you can mention, I spent the most of the last 15 weeks there where the blue dot is. It's there where I live. I live on a beautiful farm in the southeast of Germany, surrounded by nature and by a lot of animals. And my life before COVID was like grabbing my bag with all my items, go to the airport to Munich and visit the countries, more than 20 countries a year, to understand what is the future of work. But it is over now. Look, this is now my new truth. So I set up a proper webcast studio. It is movable. So I take it from today, from here to my office at home. And that is my new life. So talking from here, doing research from here or from home into the world, and hopefully I can travel, hopefully in the beginning of the next year. I want to start with a special intro. So what really popped up with COVID is that we are criticless over the years, and we are not able to understanding signals. So what means understanding signals and how that could help you to shape your own future? I want to introduce you to Lara Katuria. Lara Katuria is one of the chief analysts for the Norwegian pension fund. The Norwegian pension fund is, with more than 100 billion US dollars, one of the biggest pension funds in the world. And during the interview, she shared the following comment. It's like you open the newspaper in the morning and everything in this newspaper can become relevant for an investment decision. That means reading signals. So ask yourself, how often you take all your signals around you, you do a proper framing before you make any decision. I want to let you know why it's good to do so. You know, maybe Akira Toyota, and maybe a few of you visit the CES in Las Vegas this year. I was there when he introduced the new prototype of a city, the woven city. So he came to the stage, he let us know that they read so many signals about the future of cars with the decision not to build the next car plant or factory site. So what they want to do in the future, they want to bring all the time and all the energy in new fields of science, like new fuels, robotics, new kinds of farming, how to deal with personal handicaps and all the things. So he built an entire city. How is that related to the future of work? What we should do is now, we should take the time seriously and we should build up a proper mindset. I want to share with you the major articles, and I read about 100 articles in the last 18 weeks. So there was always a stream about the work from anywhere, like you mentioned before. With COVID, we are totally free where to work. From the centralized idea of the headquarters, we are now able to work from home, from hotels, from headquarters, from wherever. So that is the first big stream, the freedom of choice. Second is the new universe of remote architecture. Outside, there are more than 700 tools, and we are just stepping into this world. That was the second stream. The third stream is, why should I go back to the headquarters when I work from home? This question is imminent still until now. If you read the newspapers, surfing the internet, or if you see some news on TV. And the last one is culture. In the past, culture was the invisible social order of an organization. But what happens now is culture is becoming visible and people have a sense of belonging and they don't want to be isolated at home. What that means is we should start a proper framing to read the signals and to map our own future at work. For that reason, we at Vitra, we build every 16, 18 months, we name it the work panorama. The work panorama is a giant banner, currently with 8 topic clusters. It's like a dashboard, what gives you guidance and orientation in any of your questions, how to deal with the future of work. So that is a bigger size of the panorama, it's 3.5 meters large, it is a massive plot. All these topic clusters start in the beginning with what-if questions. So we prepare for you 34 what-if questions that you immediately jump into a new time, in a new context, a little bit provocating and a little bit into the uncertainty. Currently, we have 8 topic clusters. The third topic cluster is planet-centric design. It's not about user-centric, it's about planet-centric, because whatever we do, we leave an impact on the planet and is becoming much more popular. Second is, I go deeper on that later, the anywhere ecosystem of work. Third is campus community. It is the idea that there are still headquarters in the future, or like the campus buildings, because there is a center of gravity for the collective, for all rituals, and for all these kind of experiments you want to do together with your coworkers. For this, the virtual architecture of work. I will spend later time on that.
Rafa, quick interruption. I think the audience can't see your slides. Can you just make sure that's... Or aren't you sharing slides?
No, I share slides, but the slides are shared by your studio in Hanover, not by me. I share them.
Yep.
But
can you just click them through? That would be great.
Sorry. I share my slides.
Yep. Click them as well.
1 second. So I go back to my screen.
Yep.
Okay.
Now we can see them. That's perfect.
Okay. So sorry for that, because the deal was like you do the...
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. Okay. We'll handle that.
The best slides are coming now. Okay. Then, topic number 5. It's permanent beta. I will go in the topic later in the next step of my lecture. Talent transfer is the idea of reskilling and upskilling people, how people learn, how people unlearn and learn how totally new things for the future of work. Topic number 7 is the idea of a humanistic spirit, like a new kind of a humanistic renaissance, the human core. And my last topic, I also show you a few slides during my session. Good. First is the anywhere ecosystem of work. With Corona, we all start to work from home. That is nothing new. But what also happens is, in a new way, is the co-work areas, they still will increase in the future, because not all of us have the opportunity to work from home size-wise. What happens also in Munich overnight, hotels open up the doors that you stay there for work if you have not the opportunity to work from home. In Munich, more than 300 hotels signed up overnight into a platform that you can book your space there like you rent a car or you share a car. And for sure, the last space will be still the physical headquarters. But their new one, what you see here is a picture of the Toyota Woven City done by Bjarke Ingels, an architect from Denmark. And these are totally new prototypes of headquarters where even robots, cobots are part of your coworkers and technology is immersive. So, in a nutshell, work from anywhere gives us totally freedom, because it's your decision that you choose the best place for the best work you want to do, and it really matches to your personal agenda. That not happens before. Now we come from the physical architecture of work into the virtual. If you have kids, your kids are still in this in-between world. They have physical toys. These toys are connected to a device that they can learn with the physical toys, with the iPad or the smartphone. And maybe they are connected by the Internet of Things to other friends. So for them it's normal. We started maybe 15 or 16 weeks ago with the Zoom, Hangout, Microsoft Teams, or Slack conferences. And we believe we are in this kind of digital world, but it isn't so because we are just entering. Why? On this chart, you see the amount of data we create worldwide. Currently, it's about 50 zettabytes. And in less than 5 years, it will be 3 times more. So that means we are just entering the physical architecture, the universe, and there will be endless opportunities. Here I show you more than 65 startups. They are currently working in the moment on new remote work tools. I do a research and we find out more than 700 tools. What is important that you have to understand the opportunities of the virtual space, but you even have to understand what are the new opportunities of your physical spaces. In a nutshell, technology innovation will open up these new opportunities for everything at work. But what we have to do is we have to take them seriously, we have to step in seriously, and we really have to understand them. My next topic is why we still have to invest in these campus buildings. So, 1 second. Do you still see the screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. One moment, because I got here a signal on my, okay, that's still fine. Okay, here we go. So there is a big question outside why companies should invest into these headquarter buildings. I want to show you one of the latest one. The latest one are like these Adidas World of Sport in Herzogenaurach. It's an entire universe where you see it's not just an office, it's much more with this kind of cultural approach. This headquarter, also one of last year, it's from Alnatura, an organic grocery company. And you see there is not kind of generic repetition of desks and sofas and what on. It's like this looks like a university, but the new one, they are different. The new have also a physical layer and a kind of digital layer. That is the Toyota Woven City, where you see the e-pallets, where you see the robots behind the facade. And this building will be the new headquarters from DJI in Shenzhen. The architecture is done by Norman Foster. The two towers are almost finished in their structure. And you see the tunnel. In this tunnel, drones are going from one tower to the other one. And robots or cobots are your co-workers. And these are new typologies. So why are these buildings so important in the future? We all want to get first a deeper sense of belonging to our companies. And we also want to get a full access what our company is doing. So there is not only a commercial layer of a company in a corporate architecture, there is also this kind of cultural layer which lets you in what the company stands for. The next topic we name it permanent beta. I talked to the board of Toyota last year in April. And if you the entrance lobby, you see the Hall of Fame with the Toyota founders and all these amazing electronic goods they produce. And I think he was also a friend of Permanent Beta, the founder of Toyota, with his quote, "Find your own way," because he recommended to us to change the perspective to the things. If you want to reinvent something new, you have to change the status quo. In the business world, you name it ambidextry. On one hand, you harvest, you do the things again and again, exploitation, but on the other thing, you explorate, you make experiments. And what happens now, space is important for that. What you see here, it's a multi-tenant shop floor in Stuttgart. It's called Arena 2036. Several companies are working together in a big space on their experiments, on their idea in a permanent iteration. Work is becoming visible and you learn so much. And that happens now also in the office. The space you see here is in Switzerland from PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I name it the exercise hall for the brain. So the body language of the space is easy to understand. You grab the things, you make your setup, you come together, work is becoming visible. The only separation is a curtain, and immediately you're on the permanent beta move. You're on the permanent iteration, and you have this kind of beta state of mind. Why that is important? The current economy is driven by permanent modifications and changes, and this is pushed by speed. And for that reason, space is a great catalyst, what helps the co-workers in the collective to deal with the acceleration of change. Coming to my last point, we name it the cultural framework. I let you know in the beginning about this stream number 4, that culture, the invisible social order of an organization, is becoming visible. And scientists from the Harvard Business Review, they want to understand what is the benefit of culture and how to deal with that also by space in any kind of physical interaction. They find out that there are 8 cultural styles, so 8 characteristics. And a bundle of these cultural styles is the cultural framework. I show you the picture of Alnatura, this organic grocery company, and for sure, caring, purpose, and enjoyment is part of their cultural framework. So ask yourself, what is your cultural framework in the organization? And do you really feel that by the architecture of the space, by the body language? So what they do is, to give the companies much more orientation and guidance, they bring it in this kind of metrics. Their companies, they are going much more into stability, and their companies, they're going much more in flexibility. Their companies, they stand more for independency, other ones for interdependency. And it's really critical that you are aware about that, because that gives you this kind of, manual, how to deal with space. I want to end up with Toyota again. This is a lovely night view of the Toyota woven city. So think about it. There was Akira Toyota. He came to the point by reading signals that the future of Toyota is not again to build the next car. The future of Toyota is to invest in a giant science city and to take care about the challenges of mankind. And he came up with these 10 topics. And what he has done now, he don't build a small library. He built on 175 hectares this giant city where you find scientists in all ages, in all generations, from hopefully all over the world, working on this topic. In the past, company was driven by rationality, efficiency, and productivity. Honestly, this is over, because that totally could taken over by machines. And we have to bring in here the cultural approach. I want to end up with a sketch. How cool could be a building? So I sketched with students during COVID this entire tower. And you see the basement is the old building. You see maybe a building like your office, hopefully hacked with staircases or with a slide. But you see the dimension of the building, it's not so big, it's not so proper. So we built on the old existing one a new one, totally mass timber construction out of a planet-centric idea. We built in a TV studio. We cut the big town hall into 4 smaller town halls. In the next upper floor, we built a permanent beta space, a little bit like the stage of a theater, where the things are coming by ropes from the ceiling, where you are totally free for any kind of setup like the Arena 2036 in big or smaller dimensions. Then we built the entire floor for the talent transfer, with elements like a library, but also with elements like holodeck, with the drones in the space, with big billboards like at the New York Times Square, where you get permanent new kinds of information to learn, unlearn, relearn. And in the upper floor, we built this entire space for you as a human, because where's creation, you need regeneration, where you can do yoga, or rest, or badminton, or even you can go to the sauna. What I've learned, we are living in we want to live in a predictable life, but that's not the truth. Because we have to deal with the unpredictable. And we should be open for the unknown. Because our grandfathers, there was endeavors, there was pioneers. And what we need again now is a kind of a pioneer spirit to fight against old ways of thinking and to endeavor the world ahead of us. So thank you very much. If you're interested in more, you can follow me on LinkedIn. And if you want to have my presentation, the panorama, the plot, or the 34 questions, go to the host. Yes. Sorry for the technical issues, and done.
Thank you very much, Rafa. This was, as always, very inspiring. And it's true, you can download the material. We'll make that available. There are 2 points in your presentation that struck me most. The one is, I mean, in spite of all these technological, digital possibilities, you're always making the relation to the human element of things. And that's one of the things that I think is so important, that we don't get carried away with all the promises that technology providers make, but always think about what does it add to our human core. Can you say a couple of words probably in this direction?
Yeah, look, I live in the outback, so for me it's totally easy to be grounded, because where I live there is nobody. I can go into the forest, I can go with my canoe on the lake. So what we should do is we should live in both worlds. On one hand side, you should be with yourself as a human, disconnected, and also take the time to switch off your cell phone and do things very carefully, read, breathe. And in the opposite, you should also step into the opportunities of the digital world. But there's not one answer. It is not 1 or 0. The world is in between 1 and 0.
That's very true. And the other thing that struck me was you pointed out the flexibility that's needed, this idea of permanent beta. And that's what many providers of digital technologies still struggle with. Because screens are screwed to walls, and they tend to be rather inflexible in terms of hardware, whereas the canvas or the displays are, I mean, you can do anything with them. But the hardware still seems to be an inflexible part in that whole game.
Yeah, you're right. What we need in the future is the ability to adapt. And ability to adapt in several layers. In smaller ones, like if you have tool or a kit of parts, but even the buildings. If you remember my sketch, the giant place, that gives you the totally opportunity or the ability to adapt.
Great. Thanks a lot, Rafa. We could talk for hours, I'm sure. Thanks for giving us this presentation. And next up in our program today, we're going to talk about smart pharmacies.